Brazil Taiwan, map number 1. A lot online, as you said, in this match, so very excited to see how this one plays out.
今年即係除咗香港隊之外，比較想睇嘅應該就係台灣隊。
Start command goes in from the referee, and away we go on double time.
You always wonder with DT starts, you know, hopefully everybody's really warmed up in the match. It's a tough place to start if you're not perfectly ready to go. But I think all these players, you know, with a match as big as this one on the line, will have been prepared and will be ready for this match. So we did get the very early break from Yunha. He'll be traded back by Mistia.
Yeah, Mistia will find that miss and trade it, as you said. So Taiwan will be pulling it back for now.
And this one's relatively long. This DT pool is actually, in terms of double time pools, fairly long. I mean, the average map length in this DT pool is almost 3 minutes, which is a little longer than what we're used to seeing, but you know, makes for a little bit more of a consistency-based pool. In addition to the skill sets already being tested, you know, whether it's your aim or whether it's your raw speed. And you see these streams starting to come in. This is what Brazil wanted to start off on, were these longer stamina-based streams and finger control patterns. And everybody looking pretty comfortable. There is that early miss from Tusk, though, as well. So Taiwan going to take that lead.
Yeah, now 3 FCs to 2 in favor of Taiwan.
And so they're going to start going to go as well. Taiwan's going to build a huge lead here in this first third.
Yeah, now it's all on Taiwan right now. Riser, Shield, and Zane just trying to put this out of reach, and we're not even at the halfway point.
Yeah, already over 100,000 point lead just about for Taiwan. Those early breaks not doing well. That's really going to cost Brazil. A lot of combos. We're already halfway through, and they've got 2 very low combos. There goes Nissan as well. Boy, this is not the start Brazil wanted at all.
Yeah,
for their first pick.
This is falling apart pretty quickly here for Brazil, as Nissan also gives it up once again. Riser, Shield, and Zane just crushing it right now. Combo gaming.
And honestly, I mean, yeah, their AC is a little bit lower, but Brazil's is not that great either, so it's not even like all that different in that regard. It's just Taiwan holding combo better and accuracy as well through some kind of awkward aim in those longer streams in that chorus. It's the type of map that requires a few different skill sets. As a just miss on nothing comes in from Tusk. I'm not sure what happened there, but Mistia is about all they've got left to lean on. Taiwan is just going to run away with this one, though.
Yeah, with only a quarter of the map left in this score gap, it's basically almost impossible, still with Taiwan holding 3 FCs.
You almost wonder if it was a little bit of a bait from Taiwan. They say, hey, we're going to double ban a couple of speed maps and make you guys think that that's an optimal skill set for you to pick into, and then we're going to show up and just freeway this like it's nothing. This is very casual stuff from Taiwan here. Just looking like they're out for a friendly little Saturday afternoon multi with the boys.
Friendly Saturday multi with the boys.
What the
Yunha does finally break at the end, as does Riser, but I mean, it's just not going to matter. This point, Zane bringing in the double FC, it looks like here.
That's going to be 2 FCs to 0 on the side of Brazil. And that is the opening break point for Taiwan. Strong start for them.
1.5 million point margin of victory. I mean, that was, you can't even like try to claim that was close, because that was absolutely the most one-sided starting that Taiwan could have hoped for. Really very impressive play from them. Brazil has their own first pick. You hate to see that happen on a team's own first pick. That is not what you like. The whole team really just, I think, underperformed across the board on that. Maybe a little bit of nerves, maybe a little not quite prepped, but all credit to Taiwan for, you know, the double FC. Hard to argue against that, especially with the backing scores from Yunha and Riser. They get their own pick early on here. With the break point in their back pocket, start to consolidate that, and then they can kind of slow roll things the rest of the way.
DT 方面好勁啊！你頭先嗰張連打 DT 入邊連打最長嗰張都 FC 咁咁話，差唔多佢4個嘅成績都係極高咯，4個都接近 FC 其實真係。
Yeah, we saw last week, you know, that little bit of back and forth with the break points in, I think, both of their matches, really. They lost their first pick, won Chile's first pick. They lost. They won their first pick against France, and then, that one went kind of back and forth a little bit as well in the mid stages. So one thing that's been a little concerning maybe about Taiwan is, you know, kind of how consistent they can be and whether they can hold on to leads.
嘛，對台灣嚟講已經係一個開場優勢啦，對面揀嘅 Matt 都已經贏咗1分。
You have to wonder if they're eyeing up Hard Rock, but at the same time they have to be careful because it could be a misstep because Brazil isn't a slouch on Hard Rock either.
Yeah, you know, Brazil did not play any Hard Rock maps against the United States last week, so, you know, not a lot to compare against these two teams. And Taiwan's going to go with one of the most difficult maps in the pool instead. They're going to go Nomad 3 Otoshimae, which is, of course, our alt pick by Moth this week. This is a very, very hard map, and I think that's a good thing for Taiwan, because I think their skill set on this is a little bit higher than Brazil on this particular kind of map.
Yeah, and also even, you know, just because it's a more difficult map, it means both teams are going to struggle a little more. If Taiwan are betting that, you know, they're going to outperform Brazil in this map, as long as they come away with a point, it doesn't matter, even if it's a point flip per se. But I'm sure if Taiwan are picking this, they have some amount of confidence in it. We see Spine's Knight,
hold 到個 combo 係呢兩 part 非
非
常之重要，咁睇下佢哋 hold 唔 hold 到個 combo。
Taiwan
基本上邊一天 hold 到個 combo 就贏㗎啦，應該係。
The Nomad 3 there, and they did end up with a double FC on it. That was Riser. Or no, they almost ended up with a double FC on it. Let me see here. Yeah, it was Flask and GFMRT. Sorry, I looked at the wrong map. But they had Flask and GFMRT double FCing the alt map last week. Backed up by Spine's Knight and Shield with very solid scores. And I think they're just going to look for that again this week because those are some very, very good alt map players. It's that flow aim skill set and some very tricky patterning in this particular one that I think is something that they feel very comfortable with.
And it will be Shield stepping in to round out the roster for Taiwan. Brazil awaiting one more, and it will be Dada.
Yeah, and this is a little bit maybe of a concern for me looking at this Brazil roster. They're playing their two new players with Husk and Dada both in on the same map. And I'm very curious to see how those two will do on a pool as relatively difficult as this. I mean, semifinals in OWC, this is no pushover any of these maps. And we saw, you know, not the greatest performance from a couple players on this first map. So, maybe bring in Dada, see what he can do on this one. But I think definitely Taiwan favored
this pick.
We'll have to see. You never know. Sometimes a few players, it just takes a couple maps for them to really sink into the match and kind of come alive. So we'll have to see if that's just the case for Brazil, but Taiwan going with the alt map.
Yep, trying to hit the ground running here with their own first pick, but this is a very, very difficult Nomad 3. You can miss pretty much anywhere. You know, in any Nomad 3 that feels like the case, but this one the spacing is just really tricky. A lot of patterns that are very hard.
That's already 3 misses on Taiwan's side to 1 on Brazil at the start, so Brazil have 3 FCs to Taiwan's only 1. Shield and Mistia.
You're just going to see more and more of these crazy spacing patterns that people will break on, you know, like you just said, Mistia and Shield both finding misses.
控速手速 aim 一個都不能少。
It's a little bit of a combo lead for Taiwan, but it's very, very close with that double FC holding things together for Brazil.
Yeah, and Spine's Knight had a very, very early miss, so he's basically good for an FC right now.
一位
There goes Tusk. That was one of the two FCs. But GFMRT trades it right back, as does Spine's Knight. Oh, goodness. Well, yeah, and there goes Dada too. Like I said, you can seriously miss
Taiwan
literally
number
at any
1
point in this map, and it's just not a surprise because the patterns are so hard.
It's mouse easy, doing the heavy lifting. The only FC left in the lobby, and his highest supporting combo is going to be Mistia at around 400. Flasco up to 500 with Shield at 400, but Mistia will drop, so now Taiwan will have a shot to pull it back.
Yeah, Mistia just, I mean, the slow section
Mouse
some
easy
awkward
喺度，佢
rhythm,
hold 住喎，依家係 carry 緊。
There goes Mouse easy as well, so the big combo now gone from Brazil.
OK，
It is basically just flash.
咁就又仲可以睇一睇嘅，仲觀望。咁將翻去到一半呢一 part 咧係最難
It really is, but that combo being held shaky from Flask, but it's being held. Pulling that gap back,
依家得翻啊 Flash 係700 combo 嘅個 combo 有晒喺度，睇佢哋可唔可以趁呢個時候拉得翻啲啊 Flash 啱啱好拉咗少少分嘅時候，佢就 miss 咗，睇下可唔可得住依家真係要。啱啊，目前好膠着啊，但係巴西 高少少，仲可以睇一睇，因為4分3個位亦都係一個幾容易 miss 嘅位嚟嘅。睇下佢哋兩邊邊一邊嘅人 hold 到呢一個 combo 啦，係。
OWC2020 Dada with those combos, not anymore. Dada breaking. I think this can be brought back by Taiwan, especially with that miss from Plus. It's going to go over.
Miss from Brazil.
巴西不斷 miss 啊呢一 part。
playing that anchor role for Brazil, but it's just not going to be enough at this rate. Those combos from Taiwan growing. And Brazil kind of falling apart a little bit here. Dada and Tusk having a lot of trouble in this.
係啊，台灣係成功撐過咗頭先嗰一 part 嘅極易 miss 嘅位嘅，哇！目前優勢亦都係翻返台灣身上，但係個分數差距都未算係非常之高啊。
Flask only 100 combo behind. OWC2020 has very similar accuracy. Obviously struggling on the act.
最後嗰冇時間啦，基本上應該就係台灣攞呢一分㗎啦。
That was such an important combo from those three members in that last third, just to run away with enough of a lead to take the point. That was very tense though through much of it.
係嘛？台灣2-0嘅目前係。咁下一張係巴西。
combo that round than Brazil. You see Dada, he really struggled there, but you notice Spines Knight, Shield, GFMRT, all having around similar scores, and Flask really stepping up to help counter that brilliant score from OWC2020.
Yep, that 526k versus 556k, and just a little bit higher scores on the other players for Taiwan. That was, I mean, only 100,000 points, but you take the win no matter how big or small it may be if you are Taiwan on your own first pick on a map like that, where the misses came frequently. Now it's that 2-0 lead. They have that little bit of cushion. Brazil has to pick from a 2-0 deficit to try and get the first point on the board here.
Yeah, and now this is when the early pressure is really mounting on Brazil. That's why it was so important for Taiwan to convert that their first pick and go up 2-0, because they got that break point. Now they've got some breathing room, and now Brazil are going to kind of be back into a wall here. The pressure's on them to get their first point on the board.
我都係就咁樣睇嘅啫，基本上。大家傾下偈咁樣。
You know, that double time, that relatively speed heavy, stream heavy map, and it didn't work out. Maybe that limits a couple of your other picks you might have had in mind.
2分領先嘅。
So Brazil
咁下一張係巴西揀嘅咩嘅
different strategy. You mentioned before maybe the hidden pool being completely open through the bans, and they are going to go with hidden 2. So we're going to get our low AR early on in this one.
講嘅話，應該係3張 HD 入邊咧係較為正常嗰一張咯，即係嗰啲比較正常。
We know they've got players who are very good in this skill set. This is if you're gonna go anywhere.
可能難啲就係好啲舊咯。
I think one of the beauties of watching
this matchup
between Brazil and Taiwan is when you see the way these teams make their picks, how they make their bans, you can immediately tell that these are veteran squads that know exactly what they're doing. You see Brazil, they go down 2-0. What do? They immediately shift up the whole match and go with hidden 2. Got to change it up, get a point on the board. That's what it's all about.
HD.
It's three very different maps that we'll be seeing, and like you said, Brazil wanting to change that skill set, to find something that maybe advantages them just a little bit more. You know, going to bank on their reading. This is AR 8.5 instead of AR 8, but made up for with some very tricky patterning, and of course being unhidden. You know, this is like the Nissan playground, known for, interestingly enough, you know, known for both speed and known for his low AR reading. Came in FC'd last week's hidden 2. Gonna try to do the same thing here this week. Taiwan, though, no slouches. I mean, you can't say that they aren't at least decent on almost every pick in the pool, but maybe not quite as strong on this one. We'll see who they bring in for this. You know, they have Shina Noriko. He does come in. That is a very strong player on the low ARs for Taiwan. Dada looks like he'll be coming in for Brazil, so you know, kind of specialty players in for this one. You've got kind of that core for both teams, but then shifting it around a bit for maps like this. Puts a lot of stress on some of those players. You know, I was talking about before how you have some of these newer players coming in for some of these picks, and it's interesting to see how they end up performing. Tusk and Dada in for another map here for Brazil, and this time it's on their own pick. They need to get on the board here because they do not want to fall behind that double break point early on. This is very important despite it being so early.
And for Taiwan, this presents a brilliant opportunity. If they are able to take this break and get their next pick, going up 4-0 will put a tremendous amount of pressure on Brazil. So Brazil trying to do everything they can to stop that momentum here with this AR 8.5 hidden pick.
Yep, this is an attempt to stop the bleeding. And it is on a very tricky, again, map. A lot of these maps very technically challenging in terms of your reading, in terms of your cursor movement, you know, whether it's the linear jumps or stacked patterns. There's a lot to unpack in this particular pick, and you can see breaks a lot of places early on already from Mission.
Taiwan, go, go, go!
Yeah,
Sheena Norco also found a very early miss, but he has comboed since then as Tusk drops. It's only Nissan for Brazil against Sheena Noriko and Flash. So Taiwan are going to start pulling it back, but Flash does drop, so now Brazil have a chance here with Nissan out in front. Sheena Noriko chasing him desperately.
And Nissan is like the last player you have to worry about on a map like this. He is rock solid on these picks week in and week out. Although he does find a break, it's traded with Sheena Noriko, so not going to be the end of the world. Mischief building up some combo behind him alongside Spine Snipe for Taiwan. You know, that act from Nissan, despite the break, shows how comfortable he is with this type of pick. Hopefully he can that combo a little bit here going forward. This one's going to stay pretty tight, but Brazil with that little bit of a lead.
And Sheena Noriko dropping again. But GFMRT and Spines Knight now building up some combos here for Taiwan, but Tusk and Mistia doing the work for Brazil.
And you have this little bit of a slow section, able to build up some combo. You can see where that reading difficulty comes into play, those kind of back and forth overlapping patterns and some of these streams on the lower AR. Very tricky both to read and to aim properly. A lot of linear aim patterns like you would come to expect from IO Exception, the mapper. Trying to break from Nissan and Spine Snipe, but Brazil still with a nice combo on 3 of their players, going to maintain that advantage.
Yeah, and now Dada is really starting to build his combo, put in the work, as Nissan is now the one struggling, but fortunately for him, his teammates all have his back.
Oh my god.
It figures that the person I mentioned as being so good at this is the one that's struggling. But like you said, Brazil holding on with Nissan struggling a little bit, but Tusk finds a break into another slower section here. There is a lot of combo in Taiwan. They can try to pull this back. There is enough time, and that would be incredibly demoralizing if they manage to do so. There is a break from this could end up being very close. You've got a lot of combo, but that big combo on Mischief is really important for Brazil here if he can hold on.
Yeah, it's all in Brazil right now and how they handle the last sections of this map. But as Dada and Mischief both find misses, and now you see that score bar, it's starting to creep.
Oh, but there was RT and Spines Knight.
That is definitely going to stifle their momentum. Sheena Noriko is all Taiwan has, but there he goes.
Boy, if they could have held on, but Brazil,
Tusk able to hold on with the 3-digit combo, 300 combo, and Brazil will get their first point on the board. It's 2-1.
I don't know, how confident they're going to feel coming out of that one. Taiwan just needed a little bit more combo at the end, but you take the W where you can. And, Brazil, even if it was only by, ended up being by 250k, but it certainly felt a lot closer than that in that last Ki. That score from Mischa is really, really strong. 628k, highest score on the map by about 90,000 points.
It was a tug of war there for most of the map, but in the end, Brazil able to run away. They just had the better consistency through the map, just slightly more, consistency than Taiwan, able to build those combos. And we saw that from Taiwan in the second point. They were the ones able to have 3 players consistently building combo. That's what gets them the point. And now Taiwan will try to maintain the 2-point lead with their next pick.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a lot of what plays into this matchup. Is really which team can, be a little bit more consistent through these difficult maps. Things start to be less about who FCs and just who can keep up a better combo. And, we've seen now Taiwan doing it twice, Brazil doing it once. And it's going to be very important, those 600-700 combos in the middle of the map from those important players really can make a difference in the outcomes. Now Brazil has a spot they know that they feel a little bit comfortable about, I think, despite how relatively close it was. That low AR, that awkward kind of map is, I think, the thing that they might look into going forward. But Taiwan is going to go, as you predicted a little earlier, they are going to go into that Hard Rock pool. It is going to be the Hard Rock 2 crossover pick.
And I actually really like how Taiwan is approaching a pick. Sometimes you see teams when they get a point like Taiwan scoring a point double time. Sometimes you'll see teams just go for double time and try to clean them out of the speed picks. I like what Taiwan's doing here. They're going with Hard Rock. It's a mod they know they're good at. But also, you need to test how the other team is performing on a mod on a given day. You need to know how good Brazil are. Worst case scenario, Brazil break this Hard Rock pick. It's tied with Brazil's pick. Taiwan can still combat with the double time.
Yeah, and this is, I think, the better of the two Hard Rock picks to go to because it is a precision aim map, and Taiwan is so good. You know, the 6.5 circle size, something that Taiwan has proven very strong on in previous matches. So this is, I think, a good pick here for them. Though, interestingly, they didn't actually play the Hard Rock 2. I don't think in either, but this will set that I think they're good.
講上翻到見到威劇對 Final 嗱，哦
obviously known for Hard Rock.
Final， 因為南韓喺呢個敗組啊嘛，同埋睇下喺 Final 想見嘅話，要等呢個德國落咗去敗組先啊。
Yeah, he's been
德國打邊隊美國啊？
You know, been a little bit hit or miss at times. He had some very good scores last week, and a couple of the picks against the United States was key to their win on the free mod in that match. And he was their Hard Rock player on that particular pick. Not a lot to go on there, but I will, you know, at least say maybe that means he's going to be solid on these small circles. Sanjulov coming in as well with his first map in this match also.
We need Brazil to win this match so we can have Korea and Malco play against South Korea.
但係呢個德國輸咗嘅話，就會落咗去下彎嘅敗組入邊。
I would be。
咁去到敗組咧，就可以睇到。
Korea misses for Brazil. Wait, what?
德國打。
No. Korean Malco. You know, and of course his old name was equally as confusing. If he played against South Korea last year, because it was my Angel Sim. Angel Sim playing for South Korea. So he's just out to confuse people no matter what if he plays against that team.
Gotta love it. When the name is more than just a name.
Come on.
So we're gonna get underway here. CS 6.5, Tusk, Mischief, Sanji with Korean Malco. New roster for Brazil in this one. Riser, Zane, Flask, and Shield in for Taiwan. A very strong team on these precision aim Hard Rock picks. This one requires a lot of different skill sets. You got some tricky slider in, you got some...
咁南韓嘅對手就會係今日依家呢一場贏咗嘅嗰一隊。
Already several breaks early on.
Yeah, there's several breaks early on both sides, and Taiwan's struggling.
台灣贏嘅話就台灣對南韓。
Only Zane with the full combo for Taiwan, and only Sanjulov missing for Brazil. Everyone else holding that FC, so Brazil very much in this.
係有兩位 miss 咗嘅係。
This is the type of map where again you can miss very easily just by slight miss aims. Because some of those patterns are very tight, and because the circles are so small, you see several breaks everywhere. Shield, Flask, Korean Malco, Tusk, right in quick succession. Mischief versus Riser here. The battle of two combos that are still alive. Taiwan just that small lead.
And Mischief, he's got the bigger combo, but Riser's got the teammates with more combo.
同埋隨住呢個時間上，如果巴西呢位唔斷佢個 combo 嘅話，可能佢可以一個人嘅。睇下台灣嗰邊嘅分數如何。但係台灣嗰邊如果4位嘅 combo 都可以 hold 得住嘅話，就唔會俾對面贏㗎啦。目前亦都係台灣領先緊。
Yeah, and this is like I was saying, you know, it's just who can keep those bigger combos in these middle and last kind of third of the maps. You do see a break from Zane and Shield, but Korean Malco with a break and really not a lot going for the other Brazilian combos.
If we do see misses from either Riser or Flask here, and if Mischief holds, this could get really close at the end, but unless we see that happen pretty soon, Taiwan's looking good here.
Yeah, it would have to be now or never, and I think it's now basically past the point of no return here unless Riser and Flask both love the ending. This is a great performance from both of them on this pick on a map that really suits their skill sets. This was a great pick, I think, for Taiwan. That score from Riser is really solid. Flask backing him up well also, and that's just a solid.
同埋一個係 carry 唔起嘅。
And Riser will come in
with
900K, helping secure the point. Mistio with a great performance of 949K, the MVP of the lobby, but it will be Taiwan getting the point and going up 3-1. They preserve the 2-point lead.
怪物對戰期待。
Yeah, that was a key pick. Very important for them to win that, as you said before, the map, and they went out and just did that. That score from Riser, just behind Mistia, and then Flask with the 650k next in the lobby. I'd like to point out really quick, just as a point of interest, Tuscan Sanjulov separated by 200.
雖然 Ysa 嘅 ACC 好高，但係呢個 Mistia 嘅 combo 多100 com 咧，就係個分數上咧係多少少啦。
If I was Sanjulov, I would hold that over his head for the rest of his life.
I remember Hard Rock 2 against Taiwan.
地圖出個 monster 幾好，有機會嘅。睇下咁呢一彎已經有呢個 Ascension to Heaven 啦，跟住上一彎又有2張 DD Map， 跟住大家將 Economic Borderline。
You know, you've got like the Loy
啲出名嘅歌都會有機會，咁可能佢都會做一個叫做 custom， 即係自己改過啦，佢哋揾啲人特登去。所以你要見到其實 OWC 呢度啲 map 咧，大部分佢啲 map 其實都係叫做新 map 啦，即係佢哋改過原本嘅 map， 或者佢哋特登為咗呢一場比賽整一張新 map 出嚟，亦都有，但係亦都有1-2張係原本就有嘅 map 嘅，但係就唔多啦咁樣就。今年啊，大部分都係。 自定義 map 啦，叫做係。下一張就係巴西揀嘅嘛，應該係。
But they will go with free mod 3.
Interesting. So of the free mods, of course, this is the highest BPM by a pretty vast margin. Decisive Battle is a 234 BPM. So maybe returning to that kind of speedier type of map that we felt might be.
呢張就經典啦，咁大家玩過嘅話就已經
This one's quite tricky though. Between
S.S. X 嘅經典 map 啦，就係張234 BPM 嘅手速圖嘅，同埋 free mod 手速夠快，咩都好講。234都唔算係真係快啦，不過呢張就喺 OWC 嘅程度嚟講應該係一般。
Either way, I think this is kind of ironic because I think no matter what happens, this
今晚入邊最快嗰張係263啊，今晚入邊，係咪234就還好咧？但係就3分鐘嘅。
You know, all the points start to feel so important once you get a few picks in the match. Like you were saying before, you know, if Taiwan can win a pick, you know, go up 4-0, now 4-1 would be the case. If they get another break point here,
開 mock 嘅嗰幾位可唔可以 hold 到嘅呢個穩定性？喂，mouse easy 喎。
I suspect they might not feel super comfortable on Nomad 6 because I might have thought about that as a pick.
之前張少咗呢個冇乜人揀啦，
but this one has had some polarizing feedback to say the least. So instead deciding to go for that.
佢可能改到咩啦？嗱
Hey, you know, let's test the waters. Let's see how our free mod players.
呢啲係針對性打法㗎，佢哋都係，咩對住香港，冇嘢講啦。
It's such a coin flip to me.
It really is, but for Brazil, if they are able to take this point away,
都係睇台灣隊係真係各方面都好似話可以啊，目前係
much better than a 4-1.
Yeah, and you know you're gonna.
巴西呢邊係 mouse 喺度喎 ，Oh my god!
Presumably data hidden and.
呢邊係 GFMLT Seal Flat 同埋 Riser 嘅。
Hard Rock, and then the other side you're probably gonna bring in. If I had to guess, probably Riser, Hard Rock, and then GFMRT hidden. I would argue that the mod players for Taiwan are a little stronger on this particular pick.
Let's go.
But, you know, a lot of these times it comes down to the Nomad players trying to pull in the FC. So, put your stars on the Nomad and let them run wild, then that can do a lot for you. And I think we got to restart here because Riser did not have Hard Rock on, so that per Flask, so that is going to be Riser Hard Rock. Boy, this is going to be a close one.
Riser, don't turn on XL.
Also crashed, so.
My game almost crashed off the deck.
How's everyone's day going? Hope everybody's doing well. We're having a good time here.
咁佢哋依家係有啲問題。
This has been one of the most eventful World Cups we've seen.
Yeah, we've seen some
up to this point.
睇有啲問題。重新開始依家係。
Is just the one I'm going to come back to from this weekend. I think at this rate, that was such an incredible battle from China to pull it back all the way to tiebreaker, and then just the heartbreaking defeat. But Indonesia, man, 20 seeds still alive.
That
crazy.
Indonesia, this is an insane run for them. I mean, big ups to them, they deserve it. But a part of me is just so sad because Crystal is literally my favorite OC player.
Dude, and Crystal just had his hard carry pants on in that match too. He did everything he could, just put everything on the line. Was unfortunately denied by Skydiver in the tiebreaker, but great performance from him anyway. And now we are back into the map here, so we'll get underway.
Mod 3.
Already on map number 5 of this match, and
開 XL 嘅 Mr. 同埋 Y 都係呢兩位啊，兩位 XL 大佬啊係，都可以預見啦叫做係。同埋 Hidden 嘅話係 Dada 同埋 GGWP 嘅，咁另外亦都係 Nomad 嘅。Okay.
And neither team overmodding here, which I just think was obvious from the start. I don't think there was any reason for either team to overmod. But Dada is going to be the first miss. That's the hidden player for Brazil.
He's had a little bit of that struggle, we saw a couple times last week and a couple times so far in this match where he'll have some early breaks and then manage to build up combo through the middle of maps. Maybe that'll be the case here again.
The Apraxia method.
Apraxia method, man. Dada is the apprentice to that, I suspect. This is such a tricky map with Hidden, though. Some of these patterns are very tough to read properly. A lot of perfect stacks. And just a lot of kind of those
100% SS 6000都仲係啊！
What you get here. I gotta miss you both having some trouble early on.
哇，貓 CC 一搞就9.6啊！哦 ，GFMT 喺呢一個位，歐巴都還好喎，對面有兩位。
啊
，Shield
so both mod players gone for both teams, but the shield on Nomad FC gone now for Taiwan.
SS
It's Nissan and Mouse CC, the Nomads. Carrying on for Brazil.
哇！台灣繼續係 break 咗個 combo 啊！台灣得翻啊 ，Flash 係 hold 住個 combo， 但係
and Brazil just doing the exact same thing they did on their previous pick on the Hidden 2. Although Dada and Mischief both find breaks, but where they had those early misses and built up combo in the middle, they're looking at the same strategy here again. This map is pretty consistently
difficult呢兩位，貓 CC 同埋 Nisa 係 ，Oh my god！ 仲係呢個 full combo 嘅狀態，而且個 A 係極高啊！其中一位仲係 SS。
Making their scores count. Nissan still on the SS rank, and G4T Riser both breaking. There's really no combo.
一位 carry 係難啲嘅，兩位 carry 咧就易啲㗎啦。
Yeah, I mean, and if this carries on much longer, we get to a quarter of the map left, and Mouse CZ and Nissan are still up seeing it's going to be virtually impossible for Taiwan to pull this one back.
Come on.
This is just insanely impressive. Mouse CZ just a few 100s, Nissan still on the SS. I mean, this is just the playground for some of these no-mod players at high level. A couple more breaks come in for Mischi and Dada, but it's really not going to matter.
My god! 哦，誒，Nissan 冇咗佢嘅 SS 啊，但係都係。
This is just
極高啊
stuff from Brazil. Nissan finally does drop a couple of 100s, but man,
oh my god.
The double FC still alive, and Brazil just looking very powerful. The strat is working.
And once again, folks, on semifinals week, a
two-way would be pretty ridiculous. 似係同阿 SSH 都相似嘅，不過係比較舊嗰種形式咧。舊嗰種嘅 SSH 嘅嗰類型嘅 Mac 嘅感覺啦。
Even if it is no mod on free mod, you cannot take that away from the players because they are putting forth a great effort here. Nissan and Mouse.
哇，兩位 FC 㗎嘛，對面。
The cursor's looking completely clean and smooth and under control. No shakes, no nerves.
冇時間咁啊，巴西應該就係。可唔可以 FC 佢哋
They will get a double FC. Brazil take a very important point to make it 3-2.
That was decisive. 870,000 points just about. Double FC for Mouse CZ and Nissan. 2 100s for Nissan. Really, really strong performance. That was exactly what Brazil needed.
哇！巴西都係追得非常之緊啊！我見到，所以係一開始俾呢個台灣攞咗個優勢嘅咁啊，追得好緊，係啊。
I was about as fast as you'll ever see somebody pick a map, and boy,
Nomad 6.
Interesting one this week. As I said, Nomad 6. The rhythm pick, it is. You can hear the song.
我反而覺得 OWC 係呢個 map pool 入邊嘅困難嘅其中一張 map 啦。今日香港隊好似好開過呢張 map 嘅，一張變速 map， 然後咧，所以呢張變速咧，即係佢嗰個變速嘅介乎110 BPM 啦，去到呢個195 BPM 之間嘅，即係都個差距都幾大嘅，可以講。所以咧，導致你個控速啦，左手嘅控速係非常之重要啦。咁啊，同時你嗰個 aim 啊，亦都係非常之重要。跟住簡啲一句講呢一張 map 嘅話咧，我係形容佢係隻 COS map 啦，好難，好容易 miss， 亦都好難去保持個 app。
Packs in just over 1,000 combo in that minute 57, but it's a quick one. And there's so many tricky patterns. And
Man,
so,
you say you are going bandit. We were
playing last week's Nomad 6
until 6 a.m. this morning.
Did have the higher score than either of Taiwan's scores on last week's Nomad 6 by a couple 100,000 points. Gonna see if they can continue that, but this one just gets quite a bit harder. Taiwan has those really strong combo players like GFMRT and Spines Knight that'll come in for this, or maybe not. Like GFMRT at least. I guess I'll cut it off there. But again, I think this is going to be much like many of these picks, a very contested map because both of these teams have players who will be quite strong with
it. And Brazil now are just looking for a break point. That's all they need to get right back into this match.
咁呢張亦都係台灣揀嘅咁啊，睇下台灣可唔可以喺度繼續 keep 住佢呢個分數嘅優勢。同埋對巴西嚟講就好想搶走佢呢一分。
So we'll see. Nomad 6 is a controversial pick. We'll get to see how the players perform on it here as we get underway here.
And Dada says, I'm going ahead, boys.
A little solo performance. Dada, of course, known as a very strong rhythm player, but this map is one that will test your mettle. As you can see, it breaks abound. Mischief, Malcz, and Korean Malagu all break.
That's 3 FCs to now 2 FCs to 1. Taiwan with a 1 FC advantage with Flask and GFMRT over Dada at the moment. Korean will also drop.
And I mean, you can just listen to this song and hear why it's so difficult as a map. The way the concept of this map was executed is so difficult to play well. Between both the aim and the rhythm complexity, it is not a simple one to get it. You know, it's almost like somebody just kind of dropping a piano down some stairs in terms of the song, and just map like it as well.
Malcz will find another miss. Dada and Mischief doing what they can. Malcz struggling, but Taiwan now looking very comfortable. As Shield does find a miss, they still have 3 very healthy combos. But as Shinnoriko misses, that's going to open the door for Brazil with Mischief Korean and Dada the FC will go along with Korean. Mischief the only one. And now Flask is going to negate him with that 600 combo.
There goes Mischief as well. Flask breaking. It's a full combo reset, which really disadvantages Taiwan. They built up that early lead. They're going to continue to hold it because there's no combo. Really the highest hit, Malcz at 200, but Shinnoriko matching him. And there's the breaks for everyone except Shield. I think this one just ended actually with that miss from 7 players.
Yeah, I think with the fact with that Shield was able to hold on is really going to secure this point for Taiwan.
And you can see just how hard this map is. That entire first 2/3 of it. The ending is maybe a little less but still crazy. It's so hard to keep a combo up anywhere, as you can see. Almost no combos coming into the ending. But
Taiwan will prevail. A fairly close pick there for most of the way, but Shield able to do the work that needed to be done in the end of the map to secure the point for his team. So Taiwan, once again, will hold on to that 2-point lead, and it's up to Brazil once again to respond.
And they're, I think, just going to completely block that map out of their minds, it's one of those picks where you can kind of, you can maybe play it if you're on a good day, and otherwise you can just end up with, you know, B ranks, and we saw 3 of those on that map because it is so hard to be consistent on any of the rhythms and patterns in that pick. So I think Brazil going to just have to have a little bit of a short memory after that one and say, okay, that was their pick. It was a wonky map. We're going to move on to something that's a little more favorable to us.
Taiwan getting more Bs, but getting the point. It's all about that combo gaming, folks.
Yeah. You know, despite the
似乎四邊級咗啲，係啊，四邊級咗少少啊，係。
491K, 459.
呢個點解咧？其實就佢比例有少少，哎呀死啊！我拎走咗佢啲啊！當你 set 個比例嘅時候，好似 set 得有少少怪，所以係四邊都會少咗啲嘢。係啦。
Yeah, and this is where it gets dangerous for Brazil, right? Because they weren't able to equalize there. Unfortunate. But the pool is going to start to narrow. And it's going to start to get harder and harder for teams to find comfortable points. And Brazil still are in desperate need of a break point from Taiwan.
Yeah, and you know, the first and most important thing here for Brazil is just winning their own point, is finding something that they're comfortable with on this pick, and they are going to go to the free mod pool again. It is now going to be the free mod 2, so that was kind of the expectation for last pick, and it's going to come in here instead. One map, or one selection for Brazil later on.
Oh my god.
/Zune free mod. Those are scary words to hear if you're familiar with any of the above terms, I think.
/ one of our co-casters, mapper extraordinaire.
Someone who is known for making maps that are friendly to the mappers and friendly to people like looking at maps in editor, and a little less friendly to people who actually have to play those maps. This one is absolutely no exception. His style is incredibly complex. It's lower VPM, it's lower AR, it's smaller circles. There is nothing easy about this one at all. It is saying, "Come all ye gimmick players, and feast upon my delicious feast that I have set up before you."
/ He's man, that guy is dedicated to the game. That man with his friend drove from Florida to Texas to attend a OWC land. True story.
God, I remember that actually. Holy cow! Was that 2018? That's been a couple years, right?
Yeah. It was 2018. We went to Esports Stadium Arlington.
Yeah. You know, he's a guy that's been around the scene in some form or another for a long time. Transitioned from being a player into being a mapper, has made some pretty well-known, at least to a certain crowd, made some pretty well-known maps that you've seen here and there in tournaments, but also among solo players who like being challenged.
睇咗醫生㗎，都冇好轉到啊，但係
coming into custom map for OWC and doing much the same thing. So we're going to get to see, I think, an interesting show here. This is one where the mod selection gets even more difficult. Anytime you see these picks with the circle size of, you know, default 4.8.
舊年嘅呢個時期都係咁樣，喺度降級。
6.24 with hard rock, the air 8.3 hidden. It just gets difficult.
OK， 開始比賽。
Come all ye gimmick players. Have a look at this.
And it's gonna be minimal mods.
小心身體轉天氣，係轉天氣嘅問題真係。佢一開始凍我就
Hard Rock Flash. So a little bit switching it up for both teams. Dada not coming in for this one. Riser not coming in for this one.
But Mouseizy and Nissan once again taking the no mods. No surprise there, and we see Spines Knight and GFMRT, the no mods for Taiwan.
OK 嘅，
yeah, these are, you know, kind of who are your best combo players for this low AR on no mod, who can play this comfortably with the mods. Already the very early break from Spines Knight. We'll see if his comfort level improves over the course of the pick. But again, this is a very important pick here for Brazil if they lose this Taiwan has a
HR 同埋一個 HD 嘅最低限度嘅要求啦，喺個 free mod 入邊嘅。哇 Lisa 大佬，哇Mouseizy。
See these patterns, some perfect stacks, some very tricky overlaps, much like some of the others, much like that. Mouseizy, double early break here. Not quite a quarter of the way in, but Mouseizy and Tusk both gone.
咁啊，對呢個巴西嚟講係 miss 咗啦。
Advantage Taiwan for the moment.
對台灣嚟講，目前係領先緊㗎。
They can set themselves up quite nicely here.
This is
點解張咩好似俾我當初睇嘅仲要怪？佢呢種 pattern 啊，好似有種 tag 嘅 feel 啊，即係 tag 4嗰種 tag 啊。
Yeah, we're right near that
夠咩？
halfway
再
point,
加
and this is
Tap 4 嘅
actually the
feel
worst
玩唔到
point
，Tap 4 應該
to
Tap
miss
2
at
左
that
右啦
halfway。mark.
嚇到黐線！
Yeah, unfortunate he already missed, but doesn't it like immediately capture score at about 650k?
Yeah, give or take, this is absolutely just the score being eliminated. And the accuracy gap is also huge between the teams. You see Tusk at 95, Korean Maliko at 95. Meanwhile, those 97s, 98s, players on Taiwan. But
GFMRT, that is a double miss from the Nomad players on Taiwan, so that is going to help out Brazil, give them a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel here.
係兩位有開模嘅係 FC 緊喎，居然。
over to the left-hand side.
咁啊
Brazil needs a break from Noriko or from Flask if they want to have
優勢
Korean
喺
Maliko
台灣呢邊啊！
It's a bit of a combo lead for Mouseizi and Tusk.
仲有1/4嘅長度嘅啫咩係
？About a quarter of the map. I think it might be enough time regardless, but it's going to be.
I think it also might come down to accuracy from here on out too, given this current scoreline, because you see the accuracy and how that score bar just shot to the right for a second.
舊時代嘅產物。
And now it's just coming over quickly though.
Flash did find a lot of hundreds there. Mouseizi will break though, and that's really going to hurt Brazil, but Spinesight trades it.
主要嗰幾位 FC 選手都冇事
Nissan and Korean Maliko. Tusk, that supporting combo is making the difference. Pulling back for Brazil. Sheena will drop, and Brazil in the end are going to be able to come through, take it back, and stay in this match.
睇最尾呢一個位啊
incredibly impressive from Brazil.
不過呢個巴西原本拉呢個分咧就拉得好緊嘅，原本就係啦。咁啊，Sina 嘅呢個斷嘅呢個 combo 喺呢一個 part 咧就決定咗結果嘅，叫做係。巴西兩位 FC 咁啊，台灣一位嘅。
Few misses early and then combo later on strategy with Tusk on that 880.
追得好緊啊！真係，佢真係可以攞得晒巴西佢哋自己開嘅嗰啲咩嘅分數，除咗第一張。OK， 咁下一張就係台灣 pick 嘅，係嘛？呢個趨勢落去嘅話，如果照呢個趨勢嘅話，台灣會贏。係啦。
Still with that lead, they have held a
one map advantage in the entire match. With
that break point on the first pick,
Brazil
is making them fight for every inch, and this is again just every pick so important.
Do we see Hard Rock 3 here potentially from Taiwan?
DT 期待，我期待 DT 1。
I am going to say maybe yes. I think that is a very good pick here for them, and I would not be at all surprised to see
DT 1
either Hard Rock 1, maybe even Free Mod 1, though they did lose both these Free Mods, so I think that goes on the back burner. I think Hard Rock 3, as you said, I think that might be the pick here from Taiwan. They look typically so good at Hard Rock.
Oh, man, and this map pool is just shrinking so quickly, so fast. Because for Taiwan, you've got Hard Rock 3, then there's 2 hidden maps left, which I'm not confident they're going to be on that. And then you've got 2 double times, which Taiwan banned 2 speed maps.
Yeah, and I don't know that anyone wants to touch Nomad 1 or Double Time 1. Those, of course, very straightforward kind of coin flip types of maps. But instead, Taiwan is going to go with a DT, though, themselves. It's going to be Double Time for the Lossy DT, Phantom Mines. This is one of our 2AR 10.3 picks this week, and it's going to be Taiwan.
AR 103啦，首先係咁啊，跟住就係呢一個嘅比較困難嘅地方就係呢張咩好多2連打啦，即係容易 miss 嘅位咧叫做係。但係除此之外咧，就同正常嘅 DT map 差唔多啦。對於熟悉 DT 嘅 player 嚟講，呢張咩應該係一張幾好玩嘅 map。
Yeah, and as we've seen in some previous matchups, this map can go either way. You can find breaks a lot of different places. Another one of those very tricky. It requires a fair amount of speed. It's only 225 BPM, but the way it's mapped and some of the patterns, you see some doubles, some triples, things like that, make it pretty difficult to hold combo consistently. Lassie kind of known for this style. It's not the most comfortable. A lot of these picks in this pool kind of feeling like that. So Taiwan is going for the uncomfortable DT over the comfortable DT. See how it turns out for them. As you said, they won the only DT that's been played so far in this match, so it's something that they've probably been kind of thinking about, had that out of the corner of their eye, keeping it in view, and finally going for it here later on.
Yeah, I think Taiwan is going to save that Hard Rock 3 pick for their very last pick.
Yeah, Yeah, they may well.
And I don't blame them. They have the lead, and worst case scenario here that happens, right? They lose this pick. Brazil go in on maybe hidden, take the point, and are at match point, and then Taiwan counter with the Hard Rock 3 to try to send it to tiebreaker. I mean, it's still not optimal, but it's not a completely nightmarish scenario for them.
You know, once you get to this point in the map pool, nothing I think feels quite perfectly. You're not going to be 100% confident, especially when a lot of the maps have been as close as they have been so far in this match. So even with that kind of in mind that, yeah, Hard Rock 3 might be a comfort pick for us to keep around, you still, like, you have that maybe 1% of doubt that maybe that's not right because the way that maps have gone are a little unpredictable. But for now, it's going to be the 10.3 DT. It's going to be two teams that are both very strong in this skill set, I think. So this one should be another very contested, much like almost every map. And everybody's favorite tournament client, Korean Malco, is playing. He's still playing Han Alien. He's running it back.
He says, "Guys, no, we got to play this map. This is the map we won."
Hey.
This is This is a panic button. This is a panic button moment.
Panic champ, please.
That is a known glitch with the OWC tournament client. It is one that I have run into here and there in streaming tournaments. I don't know what causes it, but it does happen. We'll get loaded into the proper map, and have all 8 players playing the same map. And we'll get underway.
OWC, but every player plays a different map.
哇，呢個唔係好掂啊，大佬。Okay.
And client finally synced up now, so we should be good to go. Early miss from Mouse Easy and Shina Noriko. So scores about level, combos about level.
目前兩邊都係一位係一開始啊。哦，兩位，台灣兩位 miss 咗。
There have not been any breaks for Brazil.
一位。同埋頭先嗰個係 tournament 一開始嗰個出錯。
Fake news.
Oh, Nissan.
There's a real break though, I believe, from Nissan. So it's gonna kind of equal out. They had a little bit of a lead. They have, but it's gonna be pretty close now.
邊亦都係一位有 miss 嘅。
Nissan will find yet another break, and that is going to help Taiwan here.
同埋睇下台灣追到幾多？哇，爭少少 miss 咗
But Zane finds a break. That's one of their strongest DT players too. Not somebody you'd like to see miss.
3 FCs to 2 now. Brazil.
呢個對台灣有啲唔係好有利啊！目前台灣揀嘅呢張咩好正？
And Shina Noriko breaks as well.
算啦，有位。
This could be it. This is probably the biggest chance Brazil have had at a break point.
對台灣嚟講好廿巴。
Yeah, they've just got to hold on a little bit longer.
唔係將咩2分半就中短。
But still with Mouse Easy and Sanji Lift, they're still looking pretty good.
同埋巴晒有兩位 FC， 咁台灣係一位燒 FC 緊嘅。
So as long as Mouse Easy and Sanji Lift can
HCC 爆炸，冇錯。
Brazil will finally be able to tie this match up.
佢呢啲嘅嗰啲連打同埋嗰啲連打同埋啲二連打到啲位係非常之難控嘅。
That favors Taiwan that trade.
Oh my god!
Drops and now it's
my
all
god!
Mouse Easy. The legend himself.
Mouse Easy 一個。
This is I think over at this point. It's a
台灣嘅 Ryza 都救唔翻㗎啦已經。
Paired away a little bit with those combos from Shinoriko and Riser, but. With Korean Malco backing up Mouse Easy, that is a
my god！ 哇，睇嚟反超或者 TB 嘅節奏啊！呢個係
Game 4 to 4。
目前都係啱啱好兩邊係4v4嘅啊嘛。唔係雙方都喺對面 pick 贏咗一次啦，係贏咗一次。
And that is a FC from Mouse Easy over a milli。
my god！ 目前嚟睇都係平均。
Korean Malco is not done playing that map.
He's not sure what he's doing today. Yeah, that was such a good play from Mouse Easy though, man.
That's a massive point for Brazil, and now it's not over for Brazil though. They haven't done it yet. They must win this pick. Their next pick now is super crucial because if you drop this, that break point was for nothing.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, and now you are in a tough spot because I don't think it's Nomad 1.
No.
And I don't know if it's DT1. So you've got the two hidden picks.
DT1
3 is a Taiwan pick, I think.
Oh, DT1!
DT1, it is going to be Econite borderline.
Nice.
Honestly, I don't think it's a terrible pick for Brazil considering that they played decent on double time. They haven't been
terrible.
They just must be confident on it.
係各位觀眾一齊吸毒啦！
1-1 on the two DTs played. 375K on that one that just ended as the score gap. Obviously 1.5 million. The one map.
咁呢張嘅 DT Mac 咧，我非常之熟悉嘅，因為我成日玩呢一張嘅 DT Mac 嘅。但係可惜嘅地方就係我未 FC 過呢一張嘢，我冇咁勁 FC。差唔多，但係未 FC 冇錯係。同埋呢一張係一張好典型、好正常嘅一啲 DT 嘅練習圖啦。咁佢會係點講咧？其實各方面都好平均喎。呢張咩？係啦，耐力咧，如果要講嘅話，比較困難嘅地方。只要你有耐力。跟住手速一般夠快咧，基本上呢張咩就還可以噶啦。跟住就睇下某幾個位係特別容易 miss 咯，個 aim 係有少少重要，係喺中間去到中後嗰一 part。係啊，同埋睇下你對呢張咩熟唔熟嘅。咁喺 DT 入邊呢一張應該算係比較簡單嘅一張嚟噶啦，或者講比較正常係啦，應該係。中毒垃圾圖。
You know when I said that the decisive battle was the decisive battle? I lied. It's this one.
Yeah, Ikanai borderline. Insert a funny pun here. This is the borderline between winning and losing the match. I don't know. Don't blame me for that.
That's a stretch, but I'll give you credit for big braiding it there.
係啦，唔得聽呢首歌聽到。
Borderline.
Yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't there. I tried to make it there, and it wasn't there.
我已經中咗毒㗎，對呢首歌已經。
So, this is again. Mouse Easy gonna come in, look for the FC. Nissan gonna come in, look for the FC. I think Taiwan's gotta pick it up a little bit from that last pick. They had a couple players, especially Zane, who is normally very strong on DTs, underperformed just a bit. So I think a key role on that roster. The other is gonna fill in as best that they can.
Cat Jam.
One pick left apiece. The last selection from
Let's
Brazil.
go.
A lot on the line as always, but the pressure
Let's go,
even
DT
higher continues to mount more and more.
嗱呢張都係啦，頭先講到就係我嘅 DT 練習圖嘅其中一張嚟嘅。
So Brazil finally able to tie this game up after being behind since the very beginning.
Good Mac, good Mac.
If they can convert this DT pick, they'll have their first lead of the match and their first match point.
Let's go, boys.
This is a map where I would honestly not be surprised to see a few FCs. But for Brazil, it's very meaningful, as you said. This would be their first lead of the entire match. To give them the opportunity to at least have one match point, even if it is on their opponent's pick, before the tiebreaker might happen.
Yeah, an early double miss from Taiwan there from Riser and Shinonori-ko.
呢張咩基本上
Unfortunately, it's 1200 combo, 3 minutes long. Like, there's plenty of time to build back up, but you want to see that comfort early on. You don't want to see the early breaks because you never know if players are not quite
兩位 SS，my god，
quite making it through the nerves. But Brazil, the 4-way, holding into the first KI here.
唔得要忍住。
Yeah, so far everyone's looking comfortable.
Yeah, nobody.
哇，拖啦，拎啊
！Mouse Easy, that looks like an over-aim, I think.
Was that client or was that an actual?
He has an A rank, so I think that was an actual miss, but there was a little bit of lag at the same time, so we'll see if his combo comes back magically. But I think that was a real miss.
That looks like a real miss. Yeah, that was a legitimate break from Mouse Easy.
台灣佢哋都可以 hold 到個 combo 嘅，都仲係。
It is still the 3FC to 2FC advantage.
同埋而家會俾台灣去拉翻呢個比分嘅，都會。
哇！Sad from Zane, right at halfway through. That's going to be as we said. You know, it's going to cap his score. You lose so many points for missing there. Now down to just 1 FC.
咁我呢張我自己呢一張 Mac 嘅成績係印象中好似800 combo 去到900 combo。係特別爽。
It's basically a 3v3. It's
好似係因為個 aim 嘅
Brazil's advantage. So Taiwan are not out of this.
Riser! Oh no! That is tragic.
咁呢個我目前呢個形勢對台灣唔係好有利啊，對佢3位嘅 combo 係
Oh, there goes Zane and Shinonori-ko. It's over actually.
Over,
yeah. 頭先個位係容易 miss 嘅位㗎嘛，台灣得翻位係 FC 㗎嘛。
this
目前嚟睇好有機會喺巴西攞到呢一分嘅。
on the backs of the
但係
triple
仲要睇落
FC
去。
still alive from Brazil. Really impressive stuff. Still a couple hundred combo left in the ending, and there are some pretty big jumps, but it just is not going to matter at this point. Brazil with a 500k lead. Nissan finally breaking, but all too little, all too late if you're a Taiwan fan. This is a great performance from Brazil. Remember I said a couple FCs might be possible. Well, at least into the ending, a couple FCs are possible, even if we're seeing these breaks in the last 200 combo.
哇！
only one
而家係
remains.
一個喺巴西有位 FC 咪㗎。 9 at
so important in this match. He's been playing really, really good Osu.
He has stepped up big this match.
That is
Fremont
the FC.
Oh my god,
this double time FC to give Brazil their first lead of the match. Their first match point. Taiwan now. Their last pick is coming up next, and it will either go to tiebreak or it will end right here.
Yeah, I mean, all credit to Brazil. Down the entire match, finally get the break point and just immediately take advantage of it, hold their own, and get that match point. And it's going to be free mod.
Yeah, and look at Zane's accuracy. He had 99.49, just a 2 miss, unfortunate. But Korean Moloko with a 99% FC coming in clutch, and free mod 1, as you said, will be Taiwan's last pick. And this is very interesting considering that Taiwan actually have not won a single free mod pick yet, but this is free mod 1.
Yeah, you know, it's a risk. I feel like it's a huge risk. You lose 2 free mods and you go with, you know, kind of the free mod 1, the alt free mod. I don't know if that's, I mean, I would say I don't know if that's the pick, but I mean, right, they did win on Nomad 3 on Otoshimae way back when.
咁啊，估唔到台灣居然會 pick 呢一張 FN free mod 1啊，因為
another kind of alternating map. Maybe that's what they felt favored them since it was a pick that they won earlier.
free mod 1咧，即係我印象中咧，最大印象咧就係呢張咩好好聽。冇錯，咁啊，其次咧就係呢一張咩係叫做小 tag map 啦，比較少 tag 嘅係。咁啊，跟住呢一張咩如果最重要講嘅話，應該就係個 aim 啦係。
I just don't know when you lose 2 free mods and then you pick a third one. That is a big risk you're taking.
所以對呢個台灣嚟講，可唔可以成功攞到1分非常之關鍵啊！同埋而家先俾對面去到呢一個嘅賽事
they have to have a fair amount of confidence in this pick, picking it as their last pick. I mean, they chose this over Hard Rock Korea. I think that's what the most surprising is.
TECH 嗰個踢呢度係。
That was really where I expected them to go as well. You know, we've been talking about that map being a possible pick for them for quite some time, and decide against it. So really, they'll have a reason. I'm sure they have a reason, but
jump 多啲，就識針㗎啦。
Be the play here. I just don't know. And you know, so many of these maps. I say it over and over in this match. So many of these maps have just been very close, very contested. 1 or 2 players missing versus hitting a particular pattern just can be the difference.
嘅，唔使咁擔心。
And Brazil, I love how, man, they have played such a great match. They've been down since the very beginning, down by 2 points. At the very end, they're able to claw it back, tie it, take the lead, and now, for the first time, most of the pressure, almost all the pressure really, is going to be on Taiwan. Not Brazil here.
OWC 天需要你哋。
Yeah, and that's an interesting factor because it's really not been something. You know, they've had, relatively speaking, less pressure on them this entire match with that lead, like you said. So how are they going to play?
HDXL 就唔準。
We haven't had to see that as of yet.
如果即係睇你平時係咪玩開 HR 咯？即係如果你平時唔係玩開 HR 嘅話咧，咁你嗰一張咩最好就係你 low mod 或者你開 hidden 已經係 FC 過一次，同埋個 ad 咧係唔錯嘅。咁講呢度唔錯咧，應該加8以上。即係加8以上之後咧，你再同一張咩再去練 HR。
Taiwan in the form of GFMRT, who's going with Hidden and Hard Rock. Shin and Oriko also with Hidden.
GFMRT
Brazil sticking
台灣呢次係 Shield、Sina、Flex 同埋 GFMRT。哇 ！GFMRT 開2個麼 ？HDXR，Oh my God！
Dada Alt, Nomad and Mouse Easy.
哇！睇下佢可唔可以 hold 得住呢一個。
Well, It's a tough map, and it's one where
同埋呢張 map 個 aim 係真係好要求高啊 aim 係。誒 ，Dicky 喺度啊，翻嚟交西啲移動會好啲。係啦 ，Dicky 係 XL 大佬嚟嘅，聽佢講就啱啦。我就唔係玩開 XL 嘅，我玩開 DT 嘅啫。但係 XL 我少量啊，淨係啦，所以我啲建議係冇 Dicky 咁好。咁睇下戰況就目前哇，台灣係3位 FC 嘅，咁啊，巴西係1個 Misty 啊。
I'm looking at GFMRT係 although you know he's seeing right now with double mod, his accuracy is not the best. If he finds a miss, that's gonna really.
咁你哋靈敏度幾多？1.0。我得1.0。
Another miss.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those.
基本上用板嘅玩家都係1.0。基本上，先娜喺度係 break 咗嘅。咁啊，但係對台灣嚟講亦都係冇問題啊！而家哇黐線。佢呢個控速同埋呢個 aim。啊 flash！
Shield and GFMRT though still in the double FC. Keeping them out in front of Mouseizi and Misja. Misja still on that hidden FC, but 92 accuracy. That score is pretty big in favor of Taiwan, just between him and the FC players on the other side.
Yeah, Shield and GFMRT are the players that Brazil needs to break right now.
而家係 Shield 同埋 GFMRT 兩位 FC 狀態咁啊。巴西呢邊係 Mistia 啦，同埋呢個 Mouseizi 係比較高嘅 combo 啦，但係你個 Mistia 嘅 ad 咧就唔係咁。
Tusk has been struggling a fair amount. Another break there from him. I think we just need to be prepared now for a tiebreaker because at this rate, it looks like that's exactly where we're headed, full steam in that direction because Taiwan looking really good on this pick. Saving it for last, and they're making it count.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and GFMRT, despite the accuracy, he is holding the combo, and that's what matters.
As you say that, he does find a break, but it is long enough into it. He's got 675k. That's a great score. It's ahead of anyone from Brazil by a pretty decent margin.
阿媽而家得翻係燒一位係 FC 狀態咁啊，但係個分數嚟睇應該就追唔翻㗎啦，係。係啦，對面嘅包士士都 miss 咗佢嗰個 combo 嘅優勢咁啊，目前應該就個結果就係台灣會攞嚟呢一場㗎啦。
Coming in with the FCs for their teams, GFMRT with that Hard Rock score.
Yeah, that was massive from him.
Really important.
And once again, folks, we will
5-5 啊 Let's go to TB.
And what did I say at the beginning of this match? It's either gonna be
router or TB.
And we're getting it. 2 TBs in one day, man. This is why we play the game. Semifinals round tiebreakers, man. These teams are so. 係啊，呢個喺 V2 嘅 Score V2 入邊呢個 No Fail 咧係唔會扣分㗎啦，即係講係。 Yeah, no.
Oh my god.
Absolutely up in the air between these two squads. They have both looked.
咁我首先要講一講就係呢個 TB map 咧係我今次嘅 map pool 入邊我唯一一張冇睇過嘅圖，所以我講唔到呢張 TB map 應該係點樣㗎。即場睇一睇佢哋 TB map 係點樣啦，目前6.9星嘅 TB map， 有 9.6、9 至 4.3， 咁係6分鐘嘅，咁同往之前嗰幾張 TB 就冇乜大分別啦，咪208 BTN 嘅。咁啊，以 TB map 嚟講嘅話咧，應該就係比較正常嘅，即係你當係 No Mod One 嘅一個加長版啦，係比較正常嘅 No Mod 啦，但係會有少少難啲嘅。
Oh man. Seriously though, both these teams just
超至少會
講
，Liza 應該會上 Flash 不知道。
It has been such a battle.
PB time.
So
good. They have. I think.
Now it comes down to.
I don't think if you're South Korea, you're not really happy about how these teams have played because they both played so well and they both displayed a tremendous amount of mental fortitude.
好接近啊，兩邊都係
These players have just stepped up, gotten the job done. Players like Korea and Maliko stepped up massive for Brazil.
等佢哋應該都需要啲時間去準備一下、休息一下嘅。
able to force the tiebreak here. They'll send in Zane, Shield. But for Brazil, it looks like it is going to be Mouse Easy, Nissan, Korean, Maliko, and Nistia.
Wiser.
And we're going to get, I think, just a brief moment. Brazil asking, or excuse me, Taiwan asking for a quick timeout. Yep. They do have that tactical pause.
The tactical timeout. So Taiwan will call the timeout. And no surprise here. Also, Brazil might use theirs too.
Yeah, you need just that moment. Take a deep breath, collect yourself, shake out your hands, maybe run a couple laps around the room just to get some of those excess nerves out, because you cannot afford any sort of nervous shakes in a tiebreaker in this stage, in this situation.
Here's what I want
to see. Here's what I want to see from Brazil. You know how, like, in American football, how there's that term called icing the kicker, where coaches will call the timeout right before the field goal is snapped. So even if the kicker makes it, it doesn't count and they have to do it again. I think Brazil, you think Brazil might use their timeout to try to ice Taiwan?
Man. It just reminds me of that commercial that played incessantly during the playoffs last year, where we're gonna they're icing the kicker and everybody open the cans of pop.
Yeah. Everybody at the same time.
Yeah, but it's a little bit of a mental game at this stage, so I could see it using that pause to your advantage to try to psych out the other team just a little bit, before call up whoever your team's version of Adam Vinatieri is to try and kick that 3 seconds left field goal.
Okay.
This is
send in Pat McAfee.
Man. So I guess the question is here, which team is the Chiefs and which team is the 49ers? I think
we need to stop with these NFL references.
Yeah, nobody's gonna know what we're talking about, huh?
I'm pretty sure like only 500 out of 7,000 people watching may know what we're talking about. I know though that Azer and Ignite do, because if you saw the round of 16 prep, very into detail about American football. I was highly impressed.
Yeah, that was a fun video, man. Definitely an enjoyable one. But
okay, MP start 10.
The break is over. The pause is over.
There will be no icing from Brazil. We are getting straight into this one.
Fascinated by these lineups. So Brazil, no surprise by any of their players. Mouse Easy, Nissan, Korean, those are their top 4 consistency aim-based pick. But Taiwan, Zane, Shield, Riser, Yunha, no GFMRT, no Flash, no Shinnoriko in for this one. That is a big surprise to me. For those have been, I think, some of the strongest players on their roster throughout this entire season.
巴西呢邊亦都係頭先呢幾位
Korean, Maliko, and Nissan, 4 players who have played very well today. Brazil will start with an early double miss, but
係一個比較開始嘅位置啊嘛，巴西有2位係 break 咗嘅。
This is a very long tiebreaker, as you mentioned, 6 minutes. 2,500 combo in total, just about.
聽完突然間食多咗3.5極榮，睇 Wiser 笑，台灣人啲場都黐撚線。Wiser 笑 ，Oh my god！ 喂，台灣呢邊嘅 ad 係好穩，哇，冇 CC。哇，呢次張 TV 咩冇咁易喎。
So it's gonna start off a little bit tense here, but with WC and Taiwan.
Okay, Shield 不能爆。
Shield! Only one FC standing on each side. Nistia for Brazil, Riser for Taiwan. The supporting combos for Brazil are also there with Nissan and Korean Maliko.
Wiser 台灣得翻 Wiser 一位係 FC 咁啊，但係喺巴西方面，巴西目前係有呢個嘅 combo 優勢啊，係。
Depending on what happens, oh my gosh, that's a break on almost nothing from Nistia. That's that 1 FC gone from Brazil.
Yeah, and now it's on Riser.
Riser
backed up by Yunha and Shield. We'll see how long those combos can last. We've got a lot of map ahead of us. Got to strap in here for the long run.
同埋依家對目前對台灣嚟講，最重要係 hold 得住呢一個防保啊！
It's dead even.
It's
absolutely dead even.
Oh.
因為張 map 仲有好長啊，咁所以
Yeah, that break from Unha will help Brazil just a tad. And now that score bar starting to creep over to the left side. A third of the way through, though. Still plenty of time for Taiwan to get back in it. But it is Korean Maliko and Nissan with Mouse Easy putting up some impressive combos. But Riser still rocking the FC. Zane will drop, though. and that's gonna hurt Taiwan.
要睇下 Wiser 嘅隊友可唔可以 hold 得住佢哋個 combo 啦。目前你睇呢個巴西方面嗰個差距係擴大緊啊！佢哋拉個差距拉得越來越大啊！開始有少少，因為係啦。最尾就嚟入咗去一半咧，咁所以個分數加得比較多。同埋巴西嘅下邊嗰兩位 Nissan 同埋嗰位係一開始 miss 咗，但係佢後尾係 hold 呢個。啊笑，莫斯斯。
And now 2 1K combos for Brazil. Only 1 1K combo for Taiwan. Wiser doing everything he can, but now
Wiser 一個人
carry 唔到咁 Taiwan. If none of these other players are able to build combos. Nissan and Korean Malico
6分鐘6.9星 OD9 嗰啲邊係殺人。點解本來就要比其他 map 難係？但係依家呢個 combo 啱啱先但係貓先試 miss 得再多都唔會改變到啊！係啊 ，miss 啲 miss 咗。嘛，對台灣嚟講係一個好消息，不過
broke on the slow section. This is huge.
That is one down, and that is going to massively help
Taiwan.
And we're going to get into the streams. Watch Wiser in this.
Wiser.
Now Brazil has basically nothing, and it's all on Wiser. 1600 combo.
This time.
Can he
Wiser is still going. He made it through the first set of streams. There's
One-man
more
carry.
to come, but he's got such a big lead over everyone now.
It's all on him. He has to at least do enough to get that score difference within reach for Taiwan.
My God.
As long as he can hold on long enough to do that, he's going to give him a shot.
One man carry.
And he's going to put this poor lead.
Riser. What a performance he's putting on. He finally breaks through the shield, but there's really a counter everywhere.
佢哋個分數拉到勁近。
Even again? Are you kidding me, Riser?
This is going to once again come down to that.
Wiser 佢一個人將佢所有分數拉翻嚟，但係目前仲需要台灣繼續加油啊
！Who is going home and who is going on to face South Korea? A quarter of the map left to determine the fate of these two teams.
如果
就 hold 唔住依家呢一個機會嘅話，又會俾呢個巴西 啊 ！Riser and Yuha both resetting as well as Korean Malico. Brazil with the combo lead though pretty severely. Nissan and Mouse Easy both pulling up some combo here in this last second.
Trying to do everything
they can to get係隊長咩嘅一個冷靜位啊！咁目前係巴西領先緊㗎，咁啊分數而且巴西仲係扯開緊嘅分數啊！而家目前係。
They're not out of it, and here we go. It's time for the ending.
My God.
Are gonna go into the last PI with a score gap
最後一個 session 啊！呢隻 map 嘅，我話成
it is Mouse Easy Nissan, and then the whole of Taiwan has to do everything they can. It's a combo lead for Brazil, but any breaks can still spell doom for them. So they need to keep, and they need to hold on.
But right now, things looking better and better for Brazil the more we progress. Korean Malico will find a break. Mouse Easy with a break. Zane and Shield trading it now. Nissan still holding that combo, keeping Brazil ahead. The 600 combo missed.
Nissan 和 Misty 啊，兩位係 hold 得住喺對面。
如果兩個一直
佢兩個唔 miss 嘅
話 ，Nissan are putting on a freaking clinic here at the end of this map. Just to keep Brazil in the lead. They're gonna run away with the last seconds of this. Nissan, what are you doing? This is incredible at the end.
Despite a brilliant combo from Riser that put Taiwan right back in it, Brazil's consistency is going to shine through on the tiebreak, and Brazil will move on to face South Korea in top 8. Taiwan's World Cup adventure will end here. Heartbreaking fashion, Brazil complete the comeback.
Oh my God.
Absolutely astonishing. Just, I mean, what can you say? Brazil, the Nissan combo, the Mistia combo, Riser doing everything he could to keep Taiwan alive.
That was insane.
But it just was not quite enough. Korean Malico, the second biggest combo from Brazil as well. Across the board, just an amazing performance when it absolutely counted the most. 80,000 points, the margin. I mean, that could not have been much closer. But that ending from Brazil just sealing it. With two incredible lights out last quarter performances.
My God.
And that is going to do it for this round of the losers bracket. Brazil, your big winners. They will move on in the losers bracket to meet South Korea for a spot in finals week.
Oh my God.
South Korea, you know, they took that very convincing win over Russia. But man, this
難
Brazil
得
squad
啊，
looks
難
like
得
they're on
睇
a
咗一
mission,
場，
and they're not gonna let
睇
anything
咗一場
stop
TB
them.
嘅
They are not
，Y 莎
gonna
真係
get
盡晒
down.
力坐直，
They
真
are
係
keeping that mental
好
so
可惜啊！
strong.
盡到最大力啊！
Man,
真係
we're
黐
in
線，
for
佢
some
拉
good
到啲
losing
分咁
bracket matches
近，真
tomorrow,
係。
and we've still got 2 more matches
Y 莎
today
trying
before
to
that.
1v2。
That's right, the big ones, the winners
佢
bracket
拉啲分
matches.
咁近，但
United
係
States against Germany
係啦，
and
都唔可以
Canada against
冇辦法，真
Japan
係
coming up later today.
佢已經
An hour
carry
from
咗一
now,
大隊啊！
Canada
真
and
係。
Japan. These are matches you cannot miss, chat. You cannot miss them. Set your alarms right now.
咁下一場咧
I
就
don't care
係
if
呢
you're
一
not
個
home.
嘅
Do it.
加拿大對日本，咁佢係
You have got to
應
be
該
it.
就係
The
香
winners
港嘅凌
semifinals
晨
this year are
1
some of
點
the
鐘
most
舉行
stacked
嘅
that I think we
係
can remember seeing. The you know the
咁啊
obvious
應
two
該唔會直
heavy
播
tournament
嗰一
favorites,
場，
USA
但
versus
係
Germany.
非常之推介大家
Canada
去
and
睇
Japan,
睇
two。teams that have been performing so
剩低嗰兩場
incredibly
比
well.
賽，大家有時間嘅話，真係
Absolutely
可以去
Be
睇，
there
真係
or
好
be
推嘅。
square. Do
凌晨1
not
點同埋凌
miss
晨
those
3點嘅，不
matches.
過係即係你哋大家 OK 有時間嘅就可以去睇，但係唔 OK 嘅就係啦，聽朝早起身再睇啦。因為目前仲係呢個嘅 Semifinal 啦，咁仲有機會，我哋仲可以等呢一個嘅 Final 同埋呢個 Grand Final 嘅。
They were down the whole match. They give up their opening pick.
But he is still
Able to
human,
convert
almost
every
be a
other pick,
god,
able to get the
almost
break
so
point,
almost,
able to
so
put a
close,
lot of
that's
pressure
so
on
close,
Taiwan,
that's really so
and the
close.
consistency in tiebreaker
啊
grants them the
係
win.
嘛？台灣亦都係喺呢個 Semifinal 嘅
What more can you say?
呢個
Just
係
incredible performance from Brazil.
第一場嘅敗組比賽入邊係輸咗俾呢個巴西
Condolences to
嘅咁啊，
Taiwan, a
代
great
表
performance, a great run,
台灣
but
喺今場嘅
Brazil was
OWC 咧，亦都
not
係
going to be
冇後續㗎啦，叫
stopped
做。
Amazing.
香港亦都係同樣啦，可惜嘅咁啊，台灣同香港都係可惜，咁啊喺 Semifinal 嘅第一場入邊就輸咗嘅。
咁啊，
期待佢哋兩隊嘅下年嘅表現嘅，冇錯。